Hi, I'm Jillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to. Today we're going to talk about something that I get asked all the time from my students, from my clients, and just from general spiritual seekers in my community. And that is, where is my soulmate? You know, if you're on the healing path, if you're psychic, if you're empathic, if you're intuitive, if you're spiritually awake and in tune, and you've been calling in like love, you've been calling in connection and partnership, but like it still hasn't arrived, then this episode is so for you, because I just want to tell you or have you think about, like, what if your soulmate isn't late, right? What if they're just waiting for the version of you that is in full alignment with your soul's purpose? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today, okay? So this is really for the soul who knows that they're here for more, you know, the empath who's done a lot of healing work but still feels like there's something missing. You know, the healer, the psychic, the intuitive that's secretly afraid love won't fit with your spiritual path, right? Or someone who's just had a string of unaligned relationships and starting to wonder, Jesus, is there something wrong with me? You know, and I just want to let you know that there is nothing wrong with you. But there may have been something misaligned. You know, if you've ever felt like you have so much love to give, but no one to meet you at that depth, or, you know, you've just outgrown old relationship patterns, but haven't found new ones that actually match your expansion. Or maybe you just keep attracting people who, you know, want your light, but not your depth, you know, who cannot meet you at that level of devotion and commitment that you desire, right? That you've given to yourself. Because this episode is a soul level shift. It's not just going to be a dating one for you, okay? So keep on listening. So I want to get depth into the real spiritual stuff, right? So like your soulmate isn't just a romantic partner, okay? Like if you're on this journey, if you're listening to this podcast right now, if you're in my energy field, then in this current time, right, in the frequency of the new earth, this person, this partner, this soulmate is a mirror. They are a co-creator, they are a soul collaborator, right? And those kind of partners, right, they don't just find you when you're dimming your light. They don't find you when you're abandoning your own gifts, your own intuition, or questioning your worth. Absolutely not. You know, they actually find you when you're anchored in your mission. You know, because we all are energy, right? And your energy emits a very specific signal when you're actually aligned with your soul path. It says, like, I'm home, you know, like I know who I fucking am and I am ready to be met. Like I am no longer bowing down or dimming myself or coming down to anyone's level. They have to come up to meet me, right? But when you're out of alignment, you know, when you're working a job that like you friggin' hate, you know, you're ignoring your intuitive gifts that are like screaming at you to come online. You're not sharing your voice. You're not sharing your opinion. You know, you're settling for less in like other areas of your life. Then obviously your frequency is going to be scattered, right? Like you are not fully standing in your truth. So therefore you're not broadcasting your truth, right? And your soulmate literally cannot find you in that fog. Like the mist is misting, okay? So like many of you are calling in love from a place of disconnection, you know, disconnection from your mission, from your energy and from your being, right? And that soulmate love, it's a friggin' frequency match, right? It's a resonance. It's a purpose meeting purpose. So let's talk about what alignment actually looks like and how to start living it, okay?
So if you're a psychic intuitive, if you are an energy healer, a channel, you need to own that. If your gifts have been coming online, if you are connecting with spirit, if you're being called to do something more, be of service with your gifts, then you need to own it. And I'm not talking about just journaling, but in your whole entire life. Stop hiding it. Stop hiding these spiritual gifts that you have to be palatable or to be accepted, right? And I can say this because I did it, right? With some people, I was out of the spiritual closet. With other people, I was pretending to be a normie, right? When I certainly was not, and your soulmates, I just want you to know this, right? Your soulmate will not be intimidated by your gifts. They're actually going to be activated by them. And this is one thing that I had on my own journey, right? I have a few of my exes who I'm still friends with, they were like, Jillian, you intimidate people because you can see through the bullshit. You can see and mirror things that I didn't even know about myself, and actually I was too scared to move into, right? And you probably maybe have the same catalytic experiences with the people that you've dated in the past, right? So if this resonates with you, then I just want you to ask yourself, okay, where am I still hiding my light? Who is it that I'm still shrinking around? Is it your boss, your colleagues in that corporate job that drains you? Is it, your best friend that you've known since primary school, but you've just done this whole awakening and you think maybe that this person isn't going to accept you because you are different now, right? And you maybe don't like to do the same things as you used to. Just really ask yourself, where are you still keeping yourself in the spiritual closet? Where are you not diving into your gifts that are there and they're present and you know that they're there, right? Your gifts wouldn't come online if your soul hadn't chosen it. And your gifts coming online is a huge part of how you are going to be and find and uncover and reclaim your purpose, right? And also just listen to what lights you up, because again, your purpose doesn't have to be like a perfect career title, right? Your purpose is the frequency, the energy that you bring to the world. So just think about what topics make you come alive, right? Mine was always spiritually. Mine was the woo. Mine was the weird. Mine was I love crime. I love investigating. I love, things that are hidden in the shadows. I am not afraid to go to the darkest depths of things. If you look at my Netflix history, it's crime, it's psychological thrillers, it's murderers, it's, I like to get under the psychology of understanding why these terrible things happen in the world. And I've never been afraid to go there, right? But then also on the other side, everything about healing and personal development and, all of those things, those are the things, and helping people, those are the things that make me come alive. Having in-depth conversations, going to the depths, those are the things that light me the fuck up. So I want to ask you, right, what are the types of conversations? What is the work that leaves you feeling charged and passionate instead of feeling flatlined and drained? This is the pro tip that I'm going to give you, okay? Follow your energy. Just start doing more of what feels expansive, even if it doesn't make sense yet, right? I know for me, when I closed down my 7-figure recruitment company, right, that I'd owned for 7.5 years and moved into my spiritual work and healing work full time, I took a good chunk of time off, right? I was had to recalibrate, who am I without this identity, right? I'd worked in that industry for such a long time, had built a very successful business, but I was going through a huge identity shift. I was shedding so much of the old version of myself that fit into this box, and I had to become something new, right? And for the time that I took off work, I took a year off before I fully launched my spiritual and healing business, right? Because I was just trying to figure it out. I was I have all these gifts and I've done all this training and, I've had clients and stuff on the side, and I'm how do I make this into a full-time thing, right? What is my business? What is my purpose? What am I really here for? And I just started following the things that made me feel good, right? So I explored my creativity again, the things that were talents of mine that I shut down or I never had time to do, right? Because I owned a corporate business. So I started creating art again. Then I taught myself digital design, and then I did clay pottery sculpture, and then I did And then I did belly dancing and pole dancing, everything that got me back into my creative sphere, because from the place of creativity, that's where creation is born. That is our natural energy. So again, just start doing more of what makes you feel good, right? Again, even if it doesn't make sense, do it. And then there's sometimes, there's this part of us, right, that is calling in the soulmate, right? Like, it often can be the part of us that is also sabotaging it, right? So we have to heal those parts that think they don't deserve it, that they don't deserve that soulmate love. And, on a conscious level, you might be like, well, I know I deserve it. Like, I know I do, but you might have unconscious wounds, right? From your childhood, from your programming, from your ancestral line, from, the blueprint that you've seen about relationships, from society, TV, past lives even, right? And you might have these wounds that are saying, love means sacrifice. You might have seen that growing up, that your idea of relationship was that you saw your mom always having to sacrifice for love, right? Or, you might have seen something like, I have to be small to be loved. I can't be in my fullness to be loved. Maybe you were told as a kid that you were just too much, or you needed to be quiet, or you needed to be a good girl or a good boy. Like, all of this stuff is still within you and impacts your energy frequency and, is impacting and creating ultimately like resistance and blocks to you truly calling in that high level love that you truly want, right? And sometimes it's these wounds that actually need tending before a soulmate can actually land, right? So, just try this, okay? Journal, or maybe just like meditate on the version of you that believes they can be fully seen, that they can be fully loved and met. Like, what is different about that version of you, that future version of you? What is it that needs to be healed in you in order to become that version? So again, I just want you to like meditate on this or journal on this and see what comes. And then the other thing I think is really important to note is for you to just get on the damn path, right? Even before you're ready, okay? Like, please do not wait for love and then begin your mission. Like, you need to begin your mission and then love will meet you there, okay? So I want you, again, just commit to one aligned action this week, whether that's launch an offer, join a membership, say yes to the thing that your soul keeps nudging you towards, that hobby, that, whatever it is. Do that, because again, all these little soul nudges, your intuition is the compass that is going to lead you to your purpose, healing and becoming your true self without all the conditioning, the self-worth issues, etc., is the way that you're going to fully step into your purpose and completely embody who you are, right? At that highest level frequency. And when you're at that highest level frequency, everything that you do is you, right? You are creating, you are, building the business of your dreams. You're, creating and making impact in the lives of the people around you. Like it's the essence that you become, right? The essence that you truly are. Now, I just want to first, after all of this, after you've got your homework, I just want to speak more directly to those of you that do know that you're here for more, right? The healers, the intuitives, the spiritual teachers, the coaches, the energy workers, the ones with the big callings on your heart, right? Because I know that you're not just looking for love, like you're looking for resonance. You are looking for that relationship that can hold your bigness, that can hold your gifts, that can hold your mission, right? Because you are on a bigger mission. You're here to impact the world and the people that need your magic, right? You've gone through the fires, you've invested in yourself, you've been healing your wounds, and you know that the healing journey is never over, right? Like, you're on the path already, right? But here's where sometimes I can see a lot of my clients that go wrong with this, right? Like, it's like if you're still waiting for your soulmate and you're staying out of alignment with your soul path, then your energy is actually broadcasting like confusion, right? Like, I know some of the most amazing, talented people, right? And I can see so much potential in them, but they're hiding their gifts, right? They're dimming their light, they're ignoring their calling, they're staying stuck in loops of fear or self-doubt. When you're in that place, you cannot magnetize the kind of relationship that your soul desires, right? You're gonna stay in stalemate, trust me. Because again, soulmate love, like true soulmate love, spiritual bloody love, isn't meant to distract you from your purpose, right? It's really meant to amplify it, right? Because the relationship that you're calling in is actually a portal, right? Just let that sink in. The relationship is a portal. It's an energetic portal. And it's not here to rescue you. It's actually here to walk beside you. It's here to mirror your growth, to expand your capacity to receive, to love, to support, to abundance, to truth, right? And the person that you're calling in, like, be sure they are on their own mission too, right? And they are going to recognize your soul because you're walking your path. Not because you're waiting on them to validate you or fill the gap or be a distraction or for them to save you. Like, that's why I cannot tell you the healing work is just a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Your soulmate union isn't separate from your soul mission. They're so deeply intertwined. And, when I started realizing that, I was like, oh shit, that makes so much sense, for me in my life, and, why I took time out of dating to heal and recalibrate myself and step into my new identity and to commit to my path, to my purpose, to building this business, to be able to make impact and help people at such a deep level. Because anything else would have just been a distraction from what I'm really here to do. So if you've been in that place, if you've been stuck in loops, if you've been waiting, hiding, wondering when they'll arrive, maybe the question isn't like, where are they? Maybe the question is, where am I not fully aligned with who I came here to be? And that's the work that we can do together in my private spiritual coaching, The Path. It is to help you get on your own soul's path in all the areas that looks like. And then I just want to go deeper, right? Like, I know we've went deep here, guys, but I just want to go a little bit deeper, right? And just let you know some of the common energetic patterns that I keep seeing from, those spiritual souls that are often disconnected from both love and their purpose, right? And you might kind of resonate with some of these. Over-giving and under-receiving. Huge one. And again, guys, I had these too, right? So I do not escape. And this is why I can tell you about it, because I'm like, I have to go through the fire, and it's like almost the ashes and the ember are witness to my learning, and this is where my teaching comes from, right? So overgiving and under-receiving, right? Like, you are living in the masculine. You're doing, you're fixing, you're serving, you're action-orientated, but you're not actually open to receiving love, support, devotion, in some cases, people, money. This is when we are in our masculine, right? We are not just present in the being. We're not tuning into our intuition. We're just overdoing, overgiving, to the point of burnout, probably for a lot of you. Another pattern is waiting for permission. Like, you're waiting to feel ready. You're waiting to feel certified. You're waiting to be perfect. You're waiting, on something to claim your gifts. Like, these are your inherent gifts. These are your soul gift. And it's like, the quicker you claim them, the quicker that you master what your own spiritual and healing gifts are, because you have them. If you're listening to this, you got them, and they're coming online, or they're already online, or you're already working with them, but you're being asked to go deeper, because this is the gateway, right? This is the gateway to your everything, is your own intuitive gifts, right? And finding out how yours work, how you work with spirit, what that looks like, developing the communication. You like knowing that your intuition is your compass for every single thing in your life, to get the answer, to get the intuitive nudges, to get the alignment with where you're meant to go, the next steps, like the clarity. That's the missing piece, guys. And then you can also be stuck in past timelines, right? Like, you might have already healed, let's say, done a lot of inner child work, right? Like a lot of inner child healing work. But yet your teenager and your 20-something self are still carrying shame or heartbreak or fear around love. You know, that's a big one that's been coming up for a lot of people right now. It's like all you hear is inner child work. And it's like, hold on a minute, there actually are all these different versions of ourselves that have also gone through pain and suffering and rejection and abandonment at different levels, right? And we need to really look at those too. And then, of course, we've got the things that run down from our ancestral line, like I said, the past life pain and suffering, the abandonment, the heartbreak that comes from our previous lifetimes. All of that we hold in our field, right? And we need to go into these places. And another thing that I see a lot is the disconnection from the feminine. Like, you know, you're spiritual, but you're actually not embodied, right? You're intuitive, but you're not present in your being. You know, you might be wise and like know a lot of stuff, but you don't feel safe in receiving that pleasure, that love, right? Again, this is where, and remember, when I speak of masculine and feminine, this is about energy, not gender, right? We all have the duality of the masculine and feminine inside us, right? And it's just essentially different energy, different traits, different essences, right? And when for often so many of us, whether you're a man or a woman, but if you're on that spiritual path, then you're usually an overgiver. You struggle to receive, right? And this is like a loop that I constantly see with people on this journey, and that have blocks with, you know, wanting their soulmate, but it not appearing, right? And ultimately, you know, the deeper that you get into alignment with yourself, the deeper you get into alignment with your purpose, right? The clearer your signal. And the clearer your signal, the faster your soulmate find you, right? And I know this path, right? Again, I can talk of it because I know it well. You know, I've been that woman with huge gifts and an aching, lonely heart at times, right? I've hidden, I've overdone, I've overgiven, I've doubted, I've waited, I've done all the things, right? And every time that I chose to step deeper into my purpose, like, Spirit met me. Like, Spirit never abandoned me, always met me and gave me the answers and the trust. Life met me, you know, like love met me because of my connection to Spirit. And again, I also want to preface, right, this isn't just about attracting a soulmate, right? It's actually becoming the version of you who no longer questions whether you actually deserve one, right? And I also want to add this too, right? Although we've been speaking about romantic soulmates, right? Romantic connections. We can have so many soulmates in our lifetime. Friends, soulmate clients. And again, the more that you shift your identity into that version that knows you deserve, you're not just gonna shift the romantic partner that shows up in your life, but you're gonna shift everyone in your life, you know, and you're going to start attracting the people that are there to support you, the ones that are aligning with your highest version of yourself, the ones that are there to support you, cheer you on in every aspect of your life. You know, soulmate clients, like I said, new friendships, you know, your family will start to shift. Everything around you will shift when you start doing this work or start really like committing to your path, right? Because I know you guys are already doing the work, but it's like, are you committing to your path? Are you committing to your soul purpose? Or are you just kind of like shimming around the sides, right? And, you know, if this episode, if this rant stirred anything in you at all, like if you maybe have felt seen, or if you've maybe felt called out, or you just feel like a resonance with it, then like this is your invitation, you know? This is what I do in my private spiritual coaching for the souls, the healers, the intuitives, the empaths, the lightworkers, the spiritual seekers that knows that they are ready to claim their intuitive and healing gifts, like knows that they're here for something bigger, like wants to dive into the depths of themselves and understand themselves at the most profound level, you know, heal those deeper wounds that are still running the show. And it's like, you can already see where they show up, right? You can see where those self-worth patterns show up in love, in your purpose, in your career. Like, you can already see it. You know, someone that's ready to completely align their energy, their being, their mission, like everything, their relationships, so that a soulmate can rise to meet you, so that everyone can rise to meet you, right? Like, what I do is just not surface level coaching. No. This is like transformational, psychic, intuitive, energetically rooted, right? We will work across timelines, past life, inner child, ancestral, bring you to alignment with who you really are, help you understand who you are and why you are the way that you are, right? Like, I am very detailed with my work, and I will help you to not only unlock your own gifts, but to understand and give you the tools to be able to navigate and manage everything in your world, right? Energetically, to clear your own blocks, to trust yourself intuitively, to be able to access the exact places, the root causes of the things that are impacting you, because these are tools for life. These are tools for life. This isn't just like a short-term, like, little fix. This is a whole soul transformation, right? And, if you know it's time, if your soul's been nudging you, then all the details of how to work with me are going to be in the show notes below. And, obviously I would be so honored to walk with you, to support you in your journey. And on a final note, just again, thank you so much for being here. Remember this, like, your soulmate isn't lost, right? They're looking for the real you. There is someone out there that is also doing the work, that is looking for you, that aligned, embodied, unapologetically you. So I just want you to know, like, keep walking your path, like, keep choosing yourself in every moment, because love is already on the way. I just want you to believe that. And until next time, stay open, stay lit, and stay you.